Once again, Commissioner, a couple more questions. Earlier, you mentioned that, some of those savings that supposedly, of that $500 million has been realized. Did you ever actually seen any documents pertaining to that? I mean, you're just saying that, yeah, we did save $500 million, or we're on track to saving $500 million. Did you actually see any evidence of that?
I've spoken to my staff about this. In other words, I meet with the chief financial officer of the Office of Health Insurance Programs twice a month. We have these conversations, so I'm tracking this. But if you're asking if he's actually shown me a spreadsheet, the answer is no. But I'm talking to my staff to make sure we're realizing the savings. Of course I am.
Okay, so there's nothing black and white about this. It's just a matter of somebody saying, yeah, we are saving the $500 million, or we're on track to saving it.
Yeah, Senator, the administrative savings is quite substantial here. Like, we are saving money here. We're doing what the legislature and the governor asked us to do. We're implementing the law.
Okay, so, all right, let me move on. Going back to what Senator Rivera here was saying, right? The governor's office, the executive branch, has been bombarded with warnings from everybody involved about the deadline being too soon to ensure a smooth transition. Now, why did the governor ignore this?
So the law said April 1st, 2025, and really when you look at why there wasn't a change in the deadline, there wasn't a bill submitted that was approved by both houses and signed by the governor. That's why the deadline wasn't changed. When you look at whether I thought it was a good idea or not, I didn't think moving the deadline was a good idea, because what I saw was people just getting confused and firmly convinced this transition was never going to happen. And the reason I know that is because people were telling us they don't need to transition. And to me, perpetuating that big lie was not helpful at all. That's why we came up with the retroactive pay solution.
So you had mentioned that you didn't think it was a good idea to extend the deadline, but you thought that you did mention that in March, when you realized that the problem was showing itself, that's when you made a plan B. You think that's a good idea to make a plan B in March in regards to an April 1st deadline?
Yeah, my firm belief was just to pick a consistent message. The law goes into effect April 1st because the law didn't change, Senator. Because the law didn't change, I was in this very difficult position. So I worked with my team to come up with a solution so we would protect people. And this was the solution we had, and I think it was a good solution. In other words, we made sure we were complying with the law you and the governor passed. Because that's what we have to do. We have to follow the law. And then the retroactive pay solution was a viable solution. That's what we did.
Right. Actually, for the record, I wasn't a senator at the time the law passed, and I would have voted no on that. So I don't think well, I'm sure that many of us senators in our districts is greatly affected by this transition. I think my district of South Brooklyn is greatly affected by this transition because, Brooklyn has always been a very ethnic area. Right? We have Hispanics and Chinese and Eastern Europeans, Italians. I think each of those groups of people would prefer to deal with a company that can understand their situation, their background, and their needs. It's more like custom catering to our clients, and that's very, very important to my constituents. And how is PPL doing in regards to this? What do they know about the Polish man living in Bensonhurst?
So
they're from Georgia, right?
So PPL did hire 20 facilitators, and this is part of what the facilitators are supposed to do. Now,
supposed to do?
Yeah, but I this is part of why there's 20 facilitators here. But I really think it's right down to it. It's like we're enforcing the law, and then PPL did hire all these facilitators. There's 20 different facilitators. So I think that's really a workable solution for many. And I don't know what they know about a Polish person in Bensonhurst, but I do think it's important to be culturally competent. I really do. People want to see that. I agree with you.
Yeah, okay, so how do you have any idea how many lawsuits have been filed against the state in regards to this transition?
We've dealt with 19 lawsuits, and we've prevailed on all of them and recently achieved a settlement.
Okay, and can you confirm whether or not how many federal investigations into the CDPAP transition are still ongoing?
Yeah, so Senator, as a long-standing practice, the Department of Health doesn't comment on any state or federal inquiry.
Okay, I think that's all I got. I'm almost out of time, and thank you once again.
Thank you.